Hi, hello, namaste, hearty, welcome. Hearty, welcome. Whether you're watching, from India, US, Middle East, or any of the 20 countries, that we have students from, let me ask you a very simple question. And I want you to think about your honest answer for it, okay? No cheating. Cheating nahi karne ka. I want you to think and give an honest answer to yourself. Right now, right now, for those who have qualified, of course, who are not any of our course alumni, somebody a student, a working professional, a housewife, a retired person, whosoever, I want you to think about this question. Right now, are you doing work that is paying you what your education is actually worth? Hmm? Right now, are you doing work that is paying you what your education is actually worth? See, most people I meet, whether they are chartered accountants, commerce graduates, finance professionals, even people, sitting on their so called MBA degrees, their honest answer is, sir, no. They have spent, years studying. They have sacrificed sleep, time, energy, but the paycheck at the end of the month doesn't match the effort they put in. I know this because I sat in exactly, that place 22 years ago. I was a finance professional and looking at my future and wondering, is this it? Is this all, the education will ever give me? And then I discovered something that changed my life completely next to my Lord. I discovered that US, the world's largest economy, it had a massive, growing, and almost untapped demand for professionals who understood this American payroll, taxation, and then bookkeeping. And they couldn't find enough people who knew it. Even now, I bet you very humbly, how many people do you know who are FPC, CPP, and all? How many people do you know? Probably, you should think about it. You should think about it. Maybe you have to tell somebody, "Arey bhai, aisa ek course hai." Not many people, know about these courses. Not many know about this. And today, 22 years later, I'm a licensed enroll agent, the highest tax credential, the US government gives. I run iLead Tax LLC in the US. I train professionals in over 20 plus countries. And I'm here today to share with you the same opportunity that transformed my life. People say, that I inspire, motivate, and all. Maybe my tone of voice is like that. And glory be to God for that. And the love and respect that students carry to my voice, I'm indebted to that. Well, this is not any motivational speech or anything. This is a business briefing, and we are going to talk about a global industry worth tens of billions of dollars. Tens of billions of dollars. And why it needs you, how you can enter it, and exactly what you need to learn. Okay, so I encourage you to take a notebook, get ready to write, and or take a screenshot wherever that is needed. Yeah, chalo, let's get into this, and please stay focused till the end. I need your absolute focus on this. Yeah, I hope you will do that. Fine. Now let's get into this. Okay. Now, see, the title of today's presentation is why USA payroll is the next big career and business opportunity. Why? Why the USA payroll is the next big career and business opportunity. I want to go step by step, and I want you also to watch, review the information that's being shared here. This is not a general topic. This is a very specific, very powerful, very timely opportunity that exists right now for finance and accounting professionals sitting in India, sitting right in India. Now, as you know, I'm Nandakumar KV, and I'm the founder and CEO of at iLead Tax Group. We have two businesses, iLead Tax Academy and then iLead Tax LLC. Rest you can find it on my LinkedIn. Okay, let's stay connected. Send me a LinkedIn invite, and you see our contact details also below. You can just WhatsApp us, or you can send a text message or whatsoever. Okay, so I have divided today's presentation into sections. Okay, so in section 1 we are going to discuss the opportunity. Why global payroll? Why now? Things like that. Okay, so before we get into certification names and salary numbers, I want to first make sure you are able to see that big picture. Agree? I want you to make sure you're able to see that big picture. See, we live in a world where more and more businesses are crossing borders. An American company can hire talent from India. An Indian professional can serve a US client from Hyderabad, Chennai, Chandigarh, Noida without ever stepping, on a plane. So this is not the future. This is today. We are doing that at iLead Tax LLC from our Indian delivery centers. And inside this global revolution, there is one function, that every business, no matter what country, no matter what size, cannot avoid. That function is payroll, right? One of the biggest expenditures of any business today is payroll. Payroll. Every single employee who goes to work and earns a salary, someone has to process that payroll, right? Someone has to calculate the taxes. Someone has to make sure the government gets the right amount at the right time with all the right forms filed. And in America, doing that wrong is not just embarrassing, it is expensive. So section 1 of today's section is simple. I want you to understand why the global payroll industry is one of the greatest career opportunities available to a finance professional today. Okay, so let's begin with the problem. Let's begin with the problem. Now, see, I want to ask you, something personal, and I want you to answer that honestly to yourself. Okay, how many of you here or who are watching online have spent 3 to 4 years, studying finance, commerce, or accounting? How many of you have graduated with a BCom, MCom, CA, CMA, CS, maybe an MBA in finance? Now, tell me honestly, does your salary reflect the effort you put into that education? See, if I look at the national data, the honest answer for most finance graduates in India is no. Let me give the reality check. See, India produces over 1.5 lakh chartered accountants every year, and hundreds of thousands more commerce and finance graduates. The supply of talent is massive, but the demand for local accounting roles, it is growing far more slowly. Now, what happens when supply is high and demand is low? Simple economics. Salaries go down. Salaries go down. I speak to finance graduates, every week, people with excellent degrees who are earning like 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakhs a year, and they're asking themselves, sir, is it worth it? Was my degree worth it? Now, here is problem number two: automation, AI. AI. In 2026, AI can do basic entry. Basic entry. AI can do routine reconciliation. AI can generate simple financial reports. The boring, repetitive tasks that many entry level finance jobs depended on. So, AI is eating those jobs. So, you have too many graduates chasing too few jobs, and AI is shrinking those jobs even further if you don't know AI. And problem number three is perhaps the most important one: no global explosion. No global explosion. Now, here is the brutal truth. You know, a BCom or even a CA from India gives you excellent technical knowledge, but it does not automatically open doors to global income. American companies do not recognize Indian credentials unless you have global certifications that they recognize. And this is the wall that stops, most talented finance professionals from accessing that global market. The presentation you are watching right now says, something very powerful. India has the talent. India has the talent. Now, what it lacks is access to global income. And that is exactly the gap we are going to address today. Getting it? Chalo, let's see. Now, okay, yeah. Now, see, I want to be very clear about something, because some people hear the word automation and then they panic. They think AI is going to replace accountants. I think I made a video even last week, uh, which has gone, much viral. Will AI, take away the role of an accountant? You can just watch iLead Tax Academy YouTube channel. You will get that. Okay. Now let me answer, this question directly. Is AI going to replace accountants? See, AI is not going to replace accountants. AI is not going to replace accountants. AI is replacing the boring parts of accounting, and that is actually good news for skilled professionals. The boring parts. Think about it, this way. In 2005, if you needed to find information, you used a library. Now, today, Google gives you the information in seconds. Now, did Google replace knowledge workers? No, it freed them to focus on applying knowledge, not just finding it. Okay. The same thing applies with payroll and accounting automation also, like softwares like ADP, Gusto, and QuickBooks Online is automating, the routine calculation. That doesn't eliminate the need for payroll professionals. In fact, it elevates, the skills that are required. Now, what is disappearing is manual data entry. Manual data entry. Basic spreadsheet reconciliation, simple compliance filings that a software can do automatically. Now, what is growing? Specialized payroll expertise, multi state tax compliance, cross border payroll management, SaaS payroll consulting, global outsourcing roles where Indian professionals serve US companies. The formula is this simple: skill plus global exposure, it equals opportunity. Skill plus global exposure, it equals opportunity. The professionals, who thrive in the next 10 years are not the ones with the most degrees. They are the ones with the most specialized global skills. And that is exactly me and my team are focused on training at iLead Tax Academy. Let me now show you what payroll really is, because most people underestimate it completely. So whether you are a 10 plus 2 or somebody, senior working, in a multinational company, or, and still, worried about a low pay scale or things like that, I encourage you to watch this video. You can switch to 1.25x speed or 1.5x speed if you found, the the flow of my words a little slow because it's a live recording. It's not edited or no technicians and all. It's all in all me. Okay. So now let's see this redefining the payroll. Okay. Payroll is not just salary processing. Remember that. Payroll is not just salary processing. I want to take a, you know, I wish, I could take a show of hands, but that's not possible. But just be, honest with yourself. Now, how many of you think payroll basically means, calculate the salary, transfer the money, yeah, done, and things like that? See, I understand, why people think like that, because many people see payroll from the employee side. Salary comes in on the first, fifth, 10th, whatever, right? Or, like bi-weekly or every 15 days, whatever, we don't know. But let me show you, what actually happens behind that salary transfer. Component number one, employee compensation calculation. Okay. This is not just, the base salary. In America, you have to calculate regular wages, overtime wages, which by federal law is 1.5 times the regular rate of hours, above 40 in a work week. It could be bonuses, commissions, and deductions for benefit, and many other things. Now, every single pay period, accurately, you must calculate. If you have friends in payroll department, you can check with them. Now, component number two is tax withholding. Tax withholding. I hope my voice is clear. 40. Okay, cool. Right. Component number two is tax withholding. See, in the US, when an employee gets paid, the employer must withhold federal income tax, social security taxes, Medicare taxes. इसको बोलते हैं FICA taxes, FICA taxes. Okay, and for employees earning above 200,000, there is an additional Medicare of 0.9%, and then there is state income tax, which varies by state. Now, some states have no income taxes, like Texas, Florida, and Nevada. Some states have income tax up to 11.5% also, like New Jersey and all. ये सब भी you have to keep it in mind. Then component 3 is legal compliance. Legal compliance, like FLSA, which stands for Fair Labor Standards Act. It governs the overtime pays. Then you have FUTA, Federal Unemployment Tax Act, which governs the unemployment insurance. Then I told you FICA, Federal Insurance Contributions Act. It governs the Social Security and then Medicare. Now, these are federal laws, and every single state has additional laws on top of this. And then the fourth one is government reporting. Every quarter, the employer files Form 941 to report payroll taxes, and at the end of the year, they send W2 forms to every employee and file them with the Social Security Administration. You do a late filing, and penalty can be, almost like more than $300 per form. Then component number 5, HR and accounting integration. See, payroll does not work in isolation. It connects to the general ledger, to the benefits administration system, to HR records, to workers' compensation systems, and things like that. Now, do you see, why payroll is not just salary processing? Agreeing? If you see all this, the 5 components, that I told you, do you still feel payroll is just salary processing? Payroll is finance plus tax plus legal compliance plus technology, and that's why the certified payroll professional, the CPP, is a professional designation from Payroll org, earlier American Payroll Association. It is not just a course certificate, it's a responsibility in itself. Now, let's look at the next one. Now, I titled this as the payroll professional. Let me share, something that surprises many people, when they read the title. See, today, the best payroll professionals in the US are not sitting in a back office processing paychecks. They are sitting in the CFO's meeting room. They are advising on labor cost forecasting. They are presenting audit risk assessments to the board of directors. Now, here is why. See, when a CFO is doing financial forecasting for the next quarter, the biggest variable cost in any service business is people. And payroll is where that number lives. So the payroll professional becomes, a strategic partner when it comes to financial planning. When a company is audited by the IRS or the Department of Labor, the payroll records are among the first things that investigators examine. Who is the person who prepares those records, understands them, and can explain them? The payroll professional. Not every business owner can do it. Sometimes, clients they get worried, when they get a simple informational notice also. Now, when a company uses platforms like ADP Workforce Now, Gusto, or Paychex Flex, those are sophisticated enterprise software systems. You need someone who understands both the technical side of configuring those systems and the compliance side of what those systems need to produce. This is not, back office work anymore. Sorry. The American Payroll Association, now called Payroll ORG, exists because payroll has become a professional discipline. You do not just learn payroll, you certify in payroll. You become a recognized, credentialed professional. And that certified professional, they are very well compensated. Let me show you, exactly how much, with the little research that I have done. Now, look at this. Okay. Let me put, some numbers here. And these are not numbers, I made up. These are from published market research reports from 2025 and then 2026. Latest reports. Okay. Say latest. See, the global payroll services market is estimated at approximately 39 to 73 billion in 2025. Now, depending on how you measure it. Now, multiple research confirms the scale. Market Research Future puts the payroll service alone at 39.48 billion in 2025, growing it to 68.68 billion by 2035. The US payroll and bookkeeping services industry alone is 76.5 billion in 2026. Don't go by this 30 billion. I'm giving you the latest statistics still. That's just the payroll. I'm talking about the US payroll and bookkeeping services industry. That alone is 76.5 billion in 2026 according to IBIS World. ADP, just one company in this space, processes payroll for more than 41 million workers worldwide. I'm so happy to share that I have so many students from ADP learning from iLead Tax Academy. Now, there are almost 324,000 businesses in the payroll and bookkeeping services industry in the United States. Now, I want to ask you a simple question. What drives the demand for payroll services? Employees. Employees. As long as people go to work and earn a salary, someone has to process payroll. This is not a trend. This is not a fad. This is permanent, structural, natural demand. And the demand is growing. And there are three forces which keeps, this demand growing. First, the SaaS payroll boom, like companies like ADP, Gusto, Paychex, and then Rippling are expanding their cloud-based payroll platforms globally. They need trained operators, consultants, and then specialists. They cannot find enough of them. You go to LinkedIn, you go to Naukri or any other job portal, you see, you look for payroll analysts, even if you are somebody watching from US. I have so many of my clients, their spouses who did payroll courses and they got into, payroll companies, into companies to process payroll, IT companies to process payroll. Second, the global workforce explosion. Companies are now hiring across borders. An American company with employees in 10 states and contractors in 5 countries. They need experts who understand this multi jurisdiction payroll. They need experts. And then the third force is the regulatory complexity. Payroll tax laws change every year. The Social Security wage base in 2025, uh, it went up to 176 100, which was 160 200 in 2024. So that is just one number, that changed. Professionals who stay current are worth their weight in gold to the employers. This is a market, with infinite demand, and India is positioned to serve that demand. Let me show you why. Hope you're enjoying it. Give me a like if you are enjoying the session. And you see my WhatsApp number below, 994 957 9091. Let me know if you have any questions, on this video. My team or I will be happy to reach out to you. Now, USA payroll is uniquely complex, and that's your advantage. अगर आसान होता तो सब करते. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? Now, let me explain something that is very important for you to understand. See, the US payroll system, as I said, is one of the most complex payroll systems in the entire world. Okay. And that complexity, that is your competitive advantage. Let me explain, what makes it so complex. See, layer one is federal taxes. See, in India, you might be paying, only uh, one tax, right? As an individual, just the country tax. You pay just to India income tax, right? But in US, क्या होता है? You pay federal, यानी country. You pay state. Let's say our state, Telangana. You pay to city, means Hyderabad. Again, you pay to county also, if that's needed. County or school district. Like district, Rangareddy, let us say. Agree? So here, it becomes complex because federal taxes. Every US employer must deal with federal income tax withholding, FICA taxes, which include Social Security and Medicare, FUTA, which is federal unemployment tax. So these are national rules, and every employer follows them, has to follow them. Then layer two is state taxes. There are 50 states in the USA. Each state, has its own tax rules. And California has a state income tax that goes up to 13.3% for high net worth individuals and all. Then Texas has zero state income tax. There are 9 other states like that. I mean, there are 9 states including Texas. New York has complex employer rules around paid family leave contributions and all. Florida has special rules for restaurant and tip workers. Yeah, people will be running restaurants and tip workers. Yeah, Florida, Disney, famous. My daughters are excited for that. Next, layer three, local taxes. Some cities have their own payroll taxes on top of the federal and state. New York City has its own city income tax. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania has a city wage tax. Some countries in Ohio have local school district taxes that come out of every paycheck. So when you say US payroll, you are really saying federal rules plus state rules plus potentially local rules. Now, if you break local, it is city and county, all applying simultaneously, all with different rates, different filing deadlines, and then different forms. And then add pay frequency complexity. Some companies, they pay weekly, some bi weekly, then every 2 weeks, some semi monthly, twice a month. Each pay frequency has different implications for how taxes are calculated and then deposited. Now, here is the key insight. Okay, the more complex a system is, the fewer people can master it. The more complex a system is, the fewer people can master it. The fewer people who can master it, the more valuable those people are. And the more valuable they are, the higher they get paid. This is basic economics, okay? Scarcity always creates value, even in relationships. When you master US payroll, you become one of a very small number of people globally who can handle this complexity. And companies will pay premium rates for that skill. Now, the question is, who will teach you this? And this is what iLead Tax Academy is here for. Yeah? Now, please take a look at section 1, what we have done so far. Now we will be getting into section 2. Give me a moment. Welcome back. So anytime you see a pause like this, just fast forward, okay? Be easy. I don't do any editing and all. It's all raw. It's all live. Now, section 2, it talks about the global advantage. How India is positioned to lead the world in payroll expertise. Okay, in payroll expertise. Now that you understand, the size of this opportunity, post all our explanation in section 1, let me show you why India specifically is perfectly positioned to capture it. Hmm? So, this is not just national pride, this is also strategic analysis. India has a combination of assets that no other country can watch for this particular opportunity. Yeah. Mera Bharat Mahan. Chali, let's get into this. Let's see. Now, why USA companies outsource payroll to India? Let me give you a very concrete business problem that American companies face, every single day. A small business owner in Dallas, Texas, okay, needs someone to handle payroll for 50 employees, multi-state, complex benefits, quarterly filings, and all. So, if they hire a full-time in-house payroll specialist in the US, here is what it costs. Hmm. According to the market data means different job sites, pay scale sites, and all. An in-house payroll specialist in the USA, he earns between $60 to $80,000 per year just in base salary. But wait, that is just the salary, and employer side payroll taxes would be extra, like Social Security, Medicare, FUTA, which is again another 7 to 10% on top. Again, health insurance benefit, and then paid time off. Then you add office space, computer equipment, software licenses, and whatnot. So by the time you add everything up, one full-time in-house payroll specialist in the USA costs the employer anywhere from 90,000 to 110,000 or more per year. Now, that same employer can hire a trained, so even if you are a CPA or somebody watching us, uh, you know from elsewhere, I'm sure the statistics speak to you. Yeah, I would love to place the students from iLead Tax Academy for free. We don't charge any placement charges. We just want jobs for our people. We just want opportunities, outsourcing opportunities for our young budding entrepreneurs who are just starting into this business. Now, that same employer can hire a trained Indian payroll professional. Someone who has the iLead certified training, understands US payroll law, operates on the US payroll software, communicates professionally in English. And that Indian professional, I have put it on a very humble side because somebody may come and show me where it is written and all that. Okay. So you don't believe, you can leave the show, right? Now, typically, A proper Indian professional who has, all these knowledge earns minimum, I'm saying, 4 lakh to 12 lakhs per year, depending upon the experience and the credential. Now, for the US employer, that translates into just some five to $15,000 a year, saving, almost like 70 to 80%. Same quality of work, same accuracy, same compliance, a fraction of the cost. Now, from the perspective of the Indian professional, 8 to 12 lakhs per year for someone at an early career stage, in their 20s, early 20s or late 20s also, is a very competitive salary in India. And as they gain experience and certification, that number goes, significantly higher than, what I have told you here. Now, I was somebody who paid 40 lakhs in income tax when I was 30 years old. So if I can, you can also. That's after all the jugad. Okay. Now, this is not exploitation. This is the beautiful economics, of global trade. The American employer saves money. The Indian professional earns more than they would in a purely domestic roles. Both sides win. And India's BPO and KPO industry handle like 56% of the world's business process outsourcing already. 56% of the world's BPO is managed by India, BPO and KPO. So we are not building this from scratch. We are just expanding an industry that India already dominates. Okay, sure. Now, the next one. India undoubtedly is becoming, the global payroll hub. Let me give you the numbers here. Okay, the global payroll market over 30 billion is growing at the same salary hike, that most of the corporate employees get every year, 8 to 10% annually. That if they're performing. Now, US tax jurisdictions requiring expertise, 50 plus, 50 plus states, between state and local levels. And then countries which are actively hiring Indian payroll professionals are at least 20 plus. Now, India's BPO industry was worth 49.87 billion in 2025 and is projected to reach almost 140 billion by 2023, and that is a CAGR of 12.64%. KPO, knowledge process outsourcing, which includes payroll, taxation, accounting, bookkeeping, is generally growing at 17% per year globally. 17%. All these are live statistics. You can research on this. And here is what the India KPO projection says. India is expected to contribute up to 45% of global KPO services. 45%. That means nearly half of the world's high knowledge, outsourcing work could flow through India. Major US firms, accounting companies, HR companies, payroll companies, they are actively building, captive centers and offshore teams in India specifically for payroll and tax work. And Indian professionals are already working for companies, like Big Four, whether it's Deloitte, KPMG, EY, Grant Thornton, ADP, Paychecks, serving their, US clients from India. The question is not whether this opportunity exists. The question is, will you be the one who seizes it? Work from India, earn global income, build financial freedom. That is the promise. And at iLead, we show you that path. Yeah. Take a look at section 2 before we go to section 3. Okay, now section 3, the corporate angle. Why businesses must act now and how we at iLead help. See, so far I have been speaking to you as an individual professional, looking at your career. Now I want to switch perspective, for a few minutes. Now I want to speak to any HR leaders, finance directors, or business owners who may be watching. Because the payroll story is not just a career story, it's a business story. Okay, and businesses have a very urgent problem with payroll right now. Okay, what is that urgency? Let's see, what is that? I call it as corporate urgency. Okay, corporate urgency. And why companies must upgrade their payroll teams. Okay, see, every business that has employees in the USA is sitting on a compliance time bomb. Compliance time bomb. If they do not have well trained, up to date payroll professionals, they are one mistake away from an expensive penalty or an audit from the Department of Labor. And here is what the regulatory landscape looks like as in 2025. Okay, first, constant tax law changes. Okay, just in 2025, I'm not talking about the OBA. Okay, I'm just telling you. Okay, just in 2025, the social security wage base changed from 160,200 to 176,100. The minimum salary threshold for overtime exemptions, it changed. Multiple states increased their minimum wages. Now California went to $16 per hour minimum wage, and payroll team that did not update their system is already out of compliance. Second, the increasing penalties. The IRS now charges up to $310 per W 2 form that is filed late or incorrectly. Late or incorrectly. So, if you have 100 employees and file their W 2s wrong, that is potentially $31,000 in penalties just from one mistake. Can you imagine that? Just from one mistake. The IRS estimates that payroll tax compliance errors cost US businesses over 7 billion annually in penalties. The third thing is multi-state complexity, from remote work. Now, COVID-19 permanently changed, where people work. How people work is more important now. People may be working from office, but still be, the best, laziest dash ever, right? Now, but still, there will be people, working from home or a hybrid model, and still they may be doing, an awesome job. Now, in 2025, employees of the same company may be working from New York, Texas, California, and Florida simultaneously. Now, each state has different payroll tax rules. So, if your payroll team does not understand multi state compliance, then you are getting exposed. In financial year 2024, the Department of Labor closed 729 compliance investigations, and 71% means more than two-thirds. It resulted in monetary penalties. And do you know what is the average penalty per non compliant employer? 2.7 million. 2.7 million average penalty for non compliance. Outdated skills means expensive mistakes, and the company pays the price, not the employee. Company pays the price. And that is why smart companies invest in payroll training before the audit happens, not after that. You may be thinking, let me hire, a fresher. I will have less payroll cost. If the fresher is really, good, I mean, obedient, passionate, and proactive, not reactive, definitely, the person you can always train. But if they are the other way around and they are not skilled, they're not teachable, it becomes a misery for you. And you may be delighting that, oh, freshers, the cost is low. It's as good as having, an experienced person who is disobedient, who doesn't learn, doesn't upgrade, doesn't know to work with people. Now, let's see the hidden cost, okay? The cost of untrained payroll employees. let me be very specific, about what non-compliance costs, because I want you to understand this is not theory. I have seen these penalties, happen to real businesses. I run my own practice also. Clients do come to us for payroll errors, payroll compliance. Now, the IRS has a tied penalty system, for late deposit of payroll taxes. So, if you deposit 1 to 5 days late, it is 2% penalty. If you deposit 6 to 15 days late, 5% penalty. Then, if you deposit more than 15 days late, 10% penalty. If you do not respond to IRS demand notices, it is 15% penalty. All penalties only. Now, let me give you a real world example of how quickly these add up. Imagine a company with a payroll tax obligation of some 50,000 every month. Of 50,000, okay? They process a week late, for 3 consecutive months. That's a 5% penalty on $50,000 per month, which is like 2,500. Yeah, 2,500 per month. So you do it for 3 months. 3 months, it will be 7,500. That is $7,500 is gone. $7,500 is gone from just one administrative error. Getting it? Just from one administrative error, $7,500 is gone. Repeated 3 times. IRS penalties for incorrect information reporting $60 to $310 per form in 2025, depending on how late the correction is filed. And then there is the Department of Labor side, worker misclassification, treating someone as an independent contractor when they should be an employee. Treating somebody as an independent contractor when they should be an employee. Now, this alone, can result in back payment of all employment taxes, penalties for failure to withhold, legal liability for benefits the worker should have received, and in some serious cases, even criminal prosecution also. I'm not scaring you. I'm just telling you the truth, facts. A Florida construction firm owner in 2024, he received an 18-month prison sentence for destroying payroll records during an active audit. So this is a serious business, my dear friend. One mistake can cost thousands, and untrained employees make mistakes every single day. The solution: invest in their training. And let me show you why training is the smart financial decision. Not as a trainer alone. I often call myself as chief education officer, not executive officer. So I'm both a teacher and a practitioner. So I'm qualified to tell you why these really matter, why you should invest into payroll training. See, I want to put a simple equation in front of you. Now, the cost of payroll training, okay, a few $1,000s, okay, for professional. Cost of one IRS penalty, tens of thousands. Cost of a DOL audit result, as we saw, 2.7 million on average. So training is always cheaper than the penalty. And here is something equally important. A well-trained payroll team is not just a defensive investment, it's a competitive advantage. When your team knows how to process payroll accurately, on time, every time, you build trust with your employees. You avoid legal exposure. Your CFO has better labor cost data for decision making. Your company moves better, faster, because payroll errors do not create disruptions. Now, the four benefits that forward-thinking companies gain from trained payroll teams are listed here. The first thing is it reduces compliance risk. Are you getting? It reduces compliance risk. Trained teams file accurately, meet deadlines, and then they avoid penalties. Then you have improved efficiency. Then you have improved efficiency. Skilled professionals process payroll faster with fewer corrections. Then number three is audit readiness. Trained teams maintain documentation that can withstand IRS scrutiny before the audit ever happens. And number four is internal expertise, retention. You build institutional knowledge inside your company instead of being dependent, on some external consultants. So training is cheaper than penalties, and a trained team is a competitive advantage. I'm telling you this as a teacher, as a practitioner, as somebody who is solving the problems of the business owners. Now, build in house team versus outsource payroll. See, every business eventually faces this strategic question: do we build our payroll expertise in house or do we outsource it? Let me walk you through both options so you can make an informed decision. Okay, now let's look at building in house. एक बार देखते हैं what is building in house. Okay. So if you feel the video length is long, okay, you may please take a break and again come back and then watch it. But not the video, the industry is so worth here that I cannot resist myself talking so much on this. Yeah, now let's look at this building in house. See, high salary cost $60,000 to $80,000 per year per specialist in the USA. Now, competitive hiring market. Finding trained payroll professionals in the US is getting harder, not easier. I myself, if I have to place students, they don't give me the opportunity. The moment, they put a thank you note, on LinkedIn or somewhere, thank you, Nanda sir, iLead Tax Academy, or, so and so person, people get hired. Recruiters are like headhunting. They're just hunting, when to start off and all. Next, there's an ongoing training burden also. So every time the law changes, your team needs updating. And the risk of turnover. If your payroll expert leaves, you lose that institutional knowledge. Now, what happens when you outsource it to trained experts? Okay, like our students from iLead Tax Academy. Now, they have significantly lower cost, the same expertise, probably with 70 to 80% savings, then expert handling by certified professionals, and it's scalable also. As your business grows, you must add capacity without the overhead in US hires, and it'll be compliance ready also because their training stays current. See, the smartest companies do not choose one or the other. Really, they do not choose one or the other, they choose both. They choose both. They have a lean senior in-house payroll leader who oversees strategy and client relationships, and they have a trained offshore team in India handling the execution. And that's how people here are working. And this model really works. And this is the model iLead is helping students to build one certified professional at a time. And here at iLead, we believe in offering industry ready education which creates employment and then promotes entrepreneurship. Education, employment, entrepreneurship. 3 E's. Now, let me quickly close this section as to how, uh, iLead can help you. Yeah. As I told you, I'm not just some teacher teaching taxes. I run my own practice and my business. So we are a strategic workforce development partner for companies that want to build, upskill, or outsource their payroll and tax functions. Now, first, we train your employees. If you have an existing accounting or HR team that needs US payroll knowledge, we can design a training program specifically for them. Just like, okay, so we can design a training program specifically for them. We prepare them for FPC, CPP, EA certifications, also licenses. We deliver training mostly online. Mostly online. If needed, we can deploy somebody on site and work out a hybrid model with one of our team members. Okay, but please don't expect me to be on your floor, given my responsibility is already added. Second thing is we upskill your accounting teams. Many companies have accountants who understand Indian accounting, but they need to add this US GAAP and then US payroll also for their global client work. So we help you bridge that gap too, upskilling the accounting teams. Okay. Then third one, we provide practical exposure. Our training includes hands-on work on real software, especially the RTP. Now we have a third RTP training, that is PTR. ITR, RTP has like three parts. Earlier it was just only two parts: individual tax returns ITR, business tax returns PTR. Now we call it as business tax returns BTR. Now we have a third part which we call it as PTR, payroll tax returns. Okay. Now here our training includes hands-on work on real software like ADP, Gusto, QuickBooks Online. So your team is ready to work from day one, not just 6 months of on-the-job training. Fourth, we support outsourcing transition also. So if you want to build a remote payroll delivery team in India, we help you design that model, train the team, and ensure they meet the US compliance standards. So if any company or organization watching wants to explore a partnership with iLead, our contact details are right here. Yeah, email me, WhatsApp me, or call me. We will talk. Yeah. Also put something on the B2B model too. See, iLead operates at the intersection of industry and education, you can say. So we have four specific ways how we work with our clients. One, employee upskilling programs. So we build customized training modules for your team aligned to FPC, CPP, and EA pathways. Then two, the payroll certification pathways, as you see. We take your employees from zero to the knowledge of globally recognized credentials through FPC and then CPP. Then third, internship pipeline. Now companies that partner with iLead, they get access to our pool of trained students for internship and entry level hiring. So these students are not fresh off the street graduates. They have been through our curriculum. They know US payroll. They can contribute from week one. So if you have been watching me from the last 1 hour and if you learned something, just imagine my student who is spending more than 100 hours with me and my team, how much knowledgeable the person should be if she has really understood the value that we are offering. Yeah. Then fourth is the recruitment support. We connect you directly with our top performing graduates. We pre-screened we pre-screen them, we train them, certify them. They are already certified by the payroll org and they are ready to work. It just depends on their willingness to relocate, and compensation terms and rest all should be fine. We also offer you MOU based partnerships, especially if you're a company that want a long-term talent pipeline. Yeah, you may sign up for an agreement with iLead. So the future of workforce development is industry institute collaboration. Yeah, I very strongly believe that. So, and iLead bridges that gap fairly well. Now, let me give you a business model also here. Yeah. Now, three ways you can work with iLead. Yeah. To make it very simple, I've just put this particular slide. One, as you see, training partner. We upskill your internal team. You tell us what your team needs to know. We design the program and we deliver it. That's one. Because some people, they don't want their people to know everything, to be qualified or something like that. Second, we can also work as a hiring partner for you. Hiring partner, wherein you access our talent pool, our students. We have candidates who are pre-screened, US payroll trained, and then ready for your job openings. So this reduces your recruitment cost and time also significantly. And third one is as an outsourcing partner. So we help you build a remote payroll delivery team. We train the professionals, we ensure compliance readiness, we give you that full transition support also. Okay, so one partner, three powerful ways to build your payroll capability. Okay, now for individual students and professionals, everything that I just shared about corporate opportunity tells you, my student, something very important. The companies are ready for you, the market is waiting. Okay, now let me show you exactly how you get trained and then qualified. Okay, section 4. Okay, take a look at the first three sections before we move to section 4. Okay, welcome back. Now we get to the heart of the matter. Okay, we have talked about the problem, we talked about the opportunity, we talked about the market, right? Now let me show you the solution. Okay, how does iLead Tax Academy actually transform a student, a fresh graduate, a working professional, even a housewife or a retired CA, okay, into a globally competitive payroll and tax expert? The answer is our three word philosophy: learn, practice, earn. सीखो पहले, then करो, then कमाओ. If you want it in hardcore Indian tone, पहले काम सीखो, then काम करो, then कमाई करो. समझे? काम, नाम will always follow. Naam will always follow your काम. Yeah? Naam will always follow your काम. The quality of your work will is directly proportional to the quantity of your wealth. So make sure you get that right. Yeah. Now let me walk you through each piece here. Hope I'm not boring you. ये इंडस्ट्री मस्त है यार, मस्त है. बहुत खुशी मिलती है, बहुत पैसा मिलता है इसमें, अच्छा सर्विस देते हो आप. I mean, imagine, I mean, somebody has, God forbid, a heart stroke at home. Do you want to give that person, I mean, your loved one, to somebody who is not qualified? Yeah, मुझे पता है एक चार यहाँ पे मारो चार, the person will be fine. Do you want to risk your father or mother like that, or you want to give them into the hands of a renowned cardiologist, a cardiac surgeon? I mean, you need experts here. Company industry needs experts. I hope I'm making some sense to you. Okay, there is a skill gap crisis now, and that's why talented students don't get the jobs they deserve. There's a painful truth, that most academies, institutes, and universities do not want to talk about. And the truth is this: there's a massive gap between what colleges teach and what employers actually need. Let me be very specific about what is missing, when a typical finance or accounting graduate enters the workforce. Number one, no applied experience. Hmm. No applied experience. Applied experience कुछ नहीं है यहाँ. No applied experience. You have studied the theory of payroll, you may even know the formula for calculating overtime and all, but you have never actually processed a US payroll for a real company. Employers know this. Hmm. Number two, no software training. In real US payroll work, you use ADP, Gusto, QuickBooks Online, Drake, CCH, any of these. Okay. Now, these are industry standard tools. Of course, CCH is tax. Now, most graduates have never opened these applications also. When they sit in an interview and the employer asks, "Are you comfortable on Gusto?" And they say, "I've heard of it, but never used it, sir." That's all. The interview is over. They'll say, "I'll get back to you." They'll never. Number three, no US compliance knowledge. You know Indian GST, Indian income tax, but you do not know Form 941, Form W2, FICA, FUTA, FLSA. US employers need people who already understand their system. And number four, no real client exposure. Working with a real US client, understanding their specific situation, asking the right questions, delivering accurate results, this is a skill that only comes from doing it. A degree without practical skills is an expensive credential that doesn't pay. And that is exactly why iLead Tax Academy was built, to close that gap, to give you not just the knowledge, but the proof that you can do the work. Now, the iLead solution model: learn, practice, earn. See, iLead Tax Academy was built on one foundational belief: skill based learning combined with real world practice. I personally feel that's the only path, to a sustainable career success in any field. Skill and then practice. Both are important. Both are important. Let me walk you. Let me walk you through this. Uh, Learn, practice, and then earn. Okay. पहले सीखो. See, we give you, I would not say world class training and all. The way I'm training you now, this is how we'll be training you. So I train, my team will also be training you on US tax, payroll, and then accounting, not some generalized finance theory, specifically US systems. So the curriculum is structured around actual US tax law and actual US payroll compliance requirements. And it is updated every year to reflect current regulations. And who teaches it? Yeah, it's me, an EA, and also somebody who has been practicing from the last 22 years along with my team. So I can very humbly say that everything I teach, I have done it. I have done it, I can say last week, last month, last year, or over the years. Now, next thing is practice. Now, this is the differentiator. See, most institutes they give you theory. Now, we give you practice on real work. At iLead Tax LLC, our actual US tax and payroll practice, students get exposure to real client files, real tax situation, real payroll scenarios. So you do not just read about how to process a form 941, you actually process a form 941. You work on real US tax returns through our real time practical training, our RTP program. You handle real scenarios, real edge cases, real software, and all. Okay. Then the third thing is you earn. Now, after learn and practice comes the outcomes: employment, remote work, and entrepreneurship. So, we provide placement assistance, internship exposure through our affiliated US practice, and then mentorship for students who want to build their own tax or payroll business. So, powered by iLead Tax LLC. Okay. A real actively practicing US tax and bookkeeping payroll firm. So, it's not a simulation, this is the real thing. Okay. Now, let me get you to the course roadmap. Okay. A little roadmap here. Now, let me show you, the complete curriculum pathway at iLead. And I want you to think of it not as some list of courses, okay, some products that I'm selling, but as a career transformation system that is for your own good. You are free to do these courses from any academy, any institution, okay, that you find good, okay. Don't try to. You can always score us out on in terms of investment, in terms of cost, but I bet you not on the quality, okay. With all due respect. Now, see, each level builds on the previous one. Each certification opens new income opportunities, and together they create a professional who can serve US clients at the highest level from anywhere in the world. Okay. Now, these are the 5 courses that we prominently teach. Yes, definitely, I want my people to be CPA at some point in time, but I want them to go through this road because I came from a very low middle class family. My father's salary used to be 4,700 rupees in 2008. Now, praise God. Now, we make it in crores, God's grace. But investing, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, or 6 lakhs for CPA, it is something tough for a boy like me. So, keeping those people in mind, I came up with those courses. But I definitely want you to do CPA once you have done this. यानी जब आप एक 6-7 लाख कमा रहे हो, महीना एक 50,000 आ रहा है, तब तब एक 5 लाख का कमिटमेंट सोचना. Until then, start preparing for your CPA, gather money for your CPA exams. Each CPA paper exam, now it is almost like some 75 to 1 lakh rupees given the dollar rate and other things. Zara महंगा है, okay? So I encourage you to first study these courses and then get into CPA. Nothing wrong in that. No, you have the budget, you have the time and all, go guns. Okay. But if you want looking for something in payroll, then FPC and CPP will give you that practical knowledge. Of course, QBO also, QuickBooks have. Okay. RTP, how you prepare the US tax return. And EA, of course, just like CPA, EA is also a license from the Internal Revenue Service. Of course, CPA is a state license, but EA is a federal license. Okay. So, and it is America's highest tax practitioner credential, EA. RTP, real time practical training, wherein you are turning your EA knowledge into a real world skill. QuickBooks Online Certification, the world's most widely used small business accounting software. Then FPC, Fundamental Payroll Certification, so your entry point into professional US payroll. And CPP, the gold standard in payroll expertise. Okay, so each certification opens new income streams, and each layer of expertise multiplies your earning potential in the US payroll and tax market. So let me now take you through each one, in detail. Probably, if you need, more information on each of these courses, you can just WhatsApp me, or you can also call our office on the toll free number that you see here. They will be happy to help you, or I'm sure you have your own AI tools or research. Okay, you can always do that. You can ask about iLead Tax Academy also. The tools will tell you. Okay, I don't own them, but the reputation, they have built it for me, so thanks to the AI tools also. Now see, the enrolled agent, let me tell you exactly what this credential is. Okay, because there is a lot of confusion about it. An enrolled agent, EA, is a federally authorized tax practitioner licensed directly by the US Treasury, okay, and administered by the IRS. It's not a state license, it's a federal license. Remember this, it's not a state license. Some people, they just call it as a EA certification because उनको fees ज़्यादा CPA से आता है. Some very few institutes, like they use that. But somebody who is a proper CPA, he knows that EA is a license, it's not a certificate. Yeah, so they will not demean that. An EA has the highest level of representation rights before the IRS of any non-attorney. That means, as an EA, I can represent any US taxpayer in front of the IRS. I can negotiate on their behalf. I can handle audits. I can also appeal for the tax decisions. A CPA can represent taxpayers before the IRS, but a CPA needs a state license. In each state, they practice it. An EA, one federal license, unlimited representation rights, okay, in all 50 states without any additional licensing requirements. So that's like all India permit, okay. And here is something, global professionals love. The EA license is not restricted to US citizens or US residents. Praise God for that as of now. Thanks to Mr. Trump. Now, I'm a licensed EA. I'm a practitioner based in both India and the USA. People in India, Middle East, Canada, anywhere in the world, they can earn the EA credential and then serve the US taxpayers. Now, what is the exam? It's called SEE, okay, Special Enrollment Examination. The SEE, it has three parts: individual taxation, part 1; part 2, business taxation; part 3, representation, practice, and then procedure. Now, each part is, will cost you some $317 or something. It was earlier 350, now they made it 317. Whatever is the change, whatever is the amount, just know that there is a fees above $300 for each paper. Now you can take them in any order. Exam is offered year round at the PSI testing centers around the world, and also online now they are planning with remote proctoring and all. So after earning your EA, there are three career paths that you can do. One, internship. So you can work on real US tax returns through iLead Tax LLC, gain verifiable experience from day one. Two, you can get into employment. Join Big Four, BPO, KPO, CA firm, MNCs serving US clients. And salary is, like 6 to 10 lakhs and then growing based on the company and based on the candidate also. The pay keeps changing. Next, entrepreneurship. Chartered accountants, you can launch your own US tax practice, serve NRI and US clients as a licensed EA, unlimited earning professional. So EA is the foundation and everything else builds on top of it. If you ask me, it's earnings always. For me, EA means earnings always. Employment assured. And it's an entrepreneur ambition. That's how I give the abbreviation, for EA. Now, what is this RTP, okay, and why it changes everything? See, passing an exam, it proves you're knowledgeable. Now, working on real returns, it proves competence. Now, these are not the same thing, and employers know the difference. Imagine two candidates, sitting in front of an employer. Both have passed the EA exam, but both have the same credential on their resume. Now, employer asks, "Tell me about a real US client situation you handled." Candidate A says, "Sir, I have studied many case studies during my course." Very generic, vague answer. But candidate B, अपना elite स्टूडेंट है समझो, चैनल मेरा है तो मेरे चैनल के बारे में बोलूंगा मैं. Through iLead Tax LLC, sir, I processed actually 1040 tax returns for US clients. I shared some 820 drafts this year, out of which I got some 780 paid under the supervision of licensed DA with 22 years of experience. I handle self-employment income calculations, Schedule C filings, and rental income reporting also, sir. I know about PIFIC also, ITI and amendment returns and all. Now, who do you think gets the job? Candidate B. Every time, all time. So, our RTP is designed to make you that candidate B. In RTP, you work on actual US tax returns and then all these payroll findings in case you sign up for RTP for PTR, payroll tax returns. So, not simulations, not textbook exercises, real client work handled under supervised mentorship by our US tax staff too. So, you use real professional software, DRIC, which is used by over 70,000 US tax professionals. Then QuickBooks Online is there, ADP, Gusto you can explore. So you navigate real client scenarios, self-employed business owners, real estate investors, then multi-state workers. So these situations have complexity that textbooks never capture. Certification alone is not enough here. Practical training is not optional. It is the difference between a resume and a career. There is a difference between CV and career. And this is what RTP gives you. And because iLead Tax LLC is an actively practicing firm, we always have real work to learn from. Check out with your friends who have done their internship at iLead. They will tell you more than what I've told you. Now, let me give you some brief about these two courses, okay? The payroll certifications, FPC and CPP. These are issued by Payroll ORG, which was previously called American Payroll Association, and these are the gold standard, in payroll credentials. FPC, this is your entry point into professional US payroll, fundamental payroll certification, and here is what it makes it unique. No work experience required, none, zero. Zero. Okay. A fresh college graduate can sit for the FPC exam, no degree requirement. So, whether you are a BCom graduate, an MBA, CA, or someone who studied something completely different, anyone can sit for the FPC, anyone from any field. So, it is specifically designed for entry level payroll professionals, sales professionals serving the payroll industry, system analysts who write payroll programs, and even customer service professionals in payroll companies. Now, what does this FPC cover? Payroll fundamentals, calculating wages and deductions, payroll tax basics, the US payroll cycle, compliance terminology. And then after FPC, what career paths open up, sir? Because I have students who have passed 10 plus to also take up FPC. Now, entry level payroll analyst, payroll coordinator, payroll data specialist, freelance payroll processing. You can also work as a tax analyst, yeah, individual tax analyst also, because you understand this a little bit of RTP on ITR, individual tax returns. You must be able to work as a preparer also. So these are all real paying roles. Getting real paying roles. Now, let's take a look at FPC now. Okay, थोड़ा FP I mean CPP के बारे में देखते हैं. Is my video going fine? Yeah. कभी कभी सॉफ्टवेयर ज़्यादा तंग करता है. Yeah, it doesn't have patience that I have. Now, CPP is an advanced level. This is what separates payroll generalists from payroll experts. Okay, to sit for CPP, you need payroll experience. Okay, either 18 months of hands-on payroll practice, or you have FPC designation plus the specific some payroll ORG courses. Then you can write it. Okay, now the CPP covers everything: multi-state compliance, payroll system management, HR integration, benefits administration, strategic payroll planning, everything. And the average certified payroll specialist salary in the US as of April 2026 is $92,139 US dollar. The range goes from 85,000 to 102,000, per year. Now, FPC holders at ADP, they earn an average of 115,550 per year, dollars again. That's a strong salary even as per US standards. The CPP opens senior employment roles: payroll director, payroll manager, senior payroll consultant. It also qualifies you to launch your own payroll consulting practice, serving US companies from India as a certified expert. So together, FPC and CPP, they create a complete payroll professional, that global companies are actively searching for. Yeah. Now I want to show you the real earning trajectory, okay, for a iLead trained professional, okay. And let me be very clear, these are realistic ranges, okay, based on whatever students actually earn, okay. Individual results may vary based on effort, performance, and market conditions. So I have to make a disclaimer like a mutual fund. But these benchmarks are real, okay. Fresher entry level in India, 3 to 6 lakhs is minimum. Because why 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs? Because some people are very horrible when it comes to communication. Not that they are bad, they come from a different background: Telugu background, Tamil background, Hindi background, Marathi background. So communication का थोड़ा दिक्कत है उनको. Okay, so those people in their early roles, they may make little less compared to standard 5 to 6 lakhs. Okay, and remotely US remote assignments also, they can take up at $15 to $25 per hour as a payroll or bookkeeping support professional. That is also there. Then stage 2 is experience, like 2 to 4 years experience है. In India में तो 8 से 15 लाख मिलते हैं. And remote work, if they take up, they may make like 25 to 35,000 annually, $2 to $3,000 per month. Next, stage 3, advanced CPP plus EA, okay, licensed EA. So in India, आराम से 2 lakh महीना they can make it. So 20 to 24 lakhs. And if they take up some US based remote contracts, आराम से 35 to 45,000 or more annually they can do it. Now, stage 4 is entrepreneur level, okay, the highest of all. Unlimited income potential, right? You launch your own tax practice and your payroll practice, you serve global clients, you build a team, build a business, create jobs. Yeah. Now, some people, when they are seeing these numbers, they say, sir, is this really achievable? Or is this just marketing? You may be thinking like that in your heart, okay? Now, this is my honest answer. See, I don't do any marketing and all. If you have watched here until 90 minutes, you are super. You are a responsible person. Whether you enroll or not, that is a different thing. Whether you study this course or not, that's a different thing. But at least you are caring about your career. बम एक जगह लगा के बैठना बहुत बड़ी बात है आज की जनरेशन के लिए. Keeping bum at one place without any gum is a big thing for today's generation. And if you're sitting this long, kudos to you. You will do something good in life. I'm not talking about payroll. कुछ आप बड़ा करोगे, ये हमारा आशीर्वाद है. Now, see, these numbers are achievable. They're not automatic. Nothing in life is automatic. The people who earn at the top of these ranges are the ones who completed their licenses, certifications seriously and actually passed the exams. Do the RTP, develop real practical skills, show up professionally, communicate well, delivery quality work, be obedient to your boss, managers, leaders, follow company rules. You did something wrong, be shameless to say sorry. And conflict resolution is very, very important. Commit to continuous learning and you will definitely grow. Definitely. If you do these things, these ranges are not only achievable, many of you would have exceeded them. Sir, you have understated the numbers, you should say. That's the message, I want to see. Sir, you both come bataya. The path is real. The question is, will you walk in it? Will you walk in it? Now, what iLead does differently, हालांकि शायद बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स होंगे बाहर. Why iLead? What iLead does differently? Why it matters? See, I want to be very transparent about what makes iLead different from other institutes. I hugely respect every teacher. Every teacher. I don't see any commercial element. You can talk to my employees in case they join any competitor or anybody. I don't consider them as competition also. We are all collaborating towards creating jobs here, right? To creating entrepreneurs here. जिसको जो अच्छा लगे, अभी किसी को सैमसंग पसंद है, किसी को एप्पल पसंद है, अभी बहुत सारे ब्रांड्स होंगे, ओप्पो, विवो, सो मेनी. या आई एम नॉट demeaning any brand. Redmi, MI, nothing. So many brands are there. जिसका बजट सही है, जिसको जो चाहे वो ले सकता है, right? So there's no force as such. Now, let me show you the contrast. Okay, what most institutes offer. Okay, theory only curriculum. Okay, you study textbook, you take notes, you memorize concepts, you pass exam, and then you walk into a job interview and realize you never actually did the work. You never did the work. No software training. Most institutes will show you screenshots of ADP, Gusto, or QuickBooks in a PowerPoint slide. They will describe the interface, but you will never touch the actual software until your first job. That means your first weeks at work are spent learning things you should already know. The third thing is no US market exposure. General accounting courses are not US specific. The tax law is different, forms are different, mindset is different. Generic training doesn't prepare you for the US market. No career ecosystem. You graduate, you get a certificate, and then you are on your own. Good luck. Okay. Now, what iLead offers? What iLead offers, मैं आपको बताता हूँ. RTP, real-time practical training through iLead Tax LLC. Not simulated, not hypothetical, real US client work. Okay, we are tied up with Infosys, HCL, Mindtree, so many companies. Okay, their employees, they file with us. Next, software first approach. We train on actual software that US employers use: Drake Tax, QuickBooks, CCH, etc. Right from day one of training. Next, third one, US practice integration and a direct exposure to US internship opportunities through our affiliated American tax and payroll practice. And then it's a complete career ecosystem. We support you from enrollment to your employment or entrepreneurship. Yeah. We do have placement assistance, mentorship, a community of graduates across 20 plus countries, then the industry partners. वो ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी आपको. You will not need them because your own certification or license will help you find a right place. Now, when I teach you, I am teaching you what I do, not what I read. That much I can say. Because I'm a practicing professional, I'm not a former practitioner. I'm an active practitioner. You can find me on the federal directory of tax professionals also. I file US tax returns, I sign them, I process US payroll, I represent my clients before the IRS. I take tax planning sessions every day, almost every day, except the days, when my kids want me out. Of course, weekends I spare. Yeah. In the off season, weekends are spared. Yeah. Now, uh, before we look at the future vision, I also want to talk about something that is close to my heart, ethics, integrity, professional standards. Now, in the US tax and payroll system, professional ethics is not an optional add on, it's a legal requirement. Now, for enrolled agents specifically, there is something called as IRS Circular 230. You can do Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever. Okay. So, this is the document that governs all conduct of licensed tax professionals or practitioners before the IRS. So, Circular 230 covers everything from how you charge fees to how you represent clients in disputes to what happens if you give incorrect advice, right? So violation can result in fines, suspension of your EA license, or permanent disbarment also from practice before the IRS. This means that when you become an EA, you're not just getting a license, you are taking on a professional responsibility. This is enough to show that EA is not a certification but a license. Every return you sign, every payroll you process, every form you file, you are putting your name, your signature, your reputation on that work. And at iLead, we teach compliance as a non negotiable standard, not because we want to follow rules for the heck of it, but because that the work we do is a divine offering to God. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it as if you are doing it for God, not for men. Boss may see, you may not see. You may have many things on your plate, or maybe you are too insignificant. You didn't achieve something great that needs the attention of the boss. But God is always watching. Yeah. A client who brings you their tax return is trusting you with the most confidential details of their financial life, their income, their investment, their family situation. They are trusting you to handle it with accuracy, diligence, and complete confidentiality. In this profession, your reputation is your business. Your reputation is your business. That's why in our faith, also in Bible, it's written a good name is more desirable than great riches. Good name. And God will make your name great and turn you into a blessing if you do, all that I'm telling you here. Guard it carefully. Guard your reputation carefully. Do the work with excellence. And learn to obey your masters, your leaders. And your career will be built on a foundation that will be last. Zaban hai hamari. Yaad rakhna. Now the future of payroll careers. Let me paint a picture of where this industry is going, okay? Because the best thing about the payroll and US tax career path is this. This forces shaping the future are all in your favor, all actually. The force number work is the remote work is permanent. Before 2020, most US accounting firm insisted on in-person employees, right? Now COVID-19 changed that forever. Companies discovered that a payroll specialist working from Bangalore could serve a client in Boston just as effectively as someone sitting in the office next door, and that too at a fraction of a cost, right? This discovery is not going away. This remote revolution has permanently opened the door for Indian professionals to serve US clients. Then, two, AI plus human collaboration, man and the machine. I want to address the AI question directly because I know some of you are thinking about it. Yes, AI can process payroll calculations, whether you like it or not. AI can flag compliance exceptions. AI can generate preliminary tax return drafts. I've seen it for 2025 tax season. I'm expecting better versions of AI in 2026. But one thing is, AI cannot exercise professional judgment. You're getting professional judgment. It can tell you the law, but practically क्या करते हैं, क्या decision लेना है, it may not tell you completely. AI cannot represent a client before the IRS. AI cannot navigate a Department of Labor audit. AI cannot build a relationship with a stressed small business owner who got a notice from IRS and is worried at 11 p.m. in the night. The CPP and EA certification and license. Oh, it helps you with expertise to make professional judgment, and AI makes them more valuable because now the AI handles the routine calculations while the human expert focuses on the high value, high judgment, and then client relationships, right? And then the fourth three is global freelancing search. Platforms connecting US firms with international payroll experts are growing rapidly. I want you to check Upwork.com. Check Upwork.com. As a certified professional, you can work with multiple US clients simultaneously. as an independent contractor, build your own client portfolio, scale your income, all without leaving India. The future is global, future is remote, the future is high value, and the future is yours. Aapka hai. If you invest in the right skills today. If you invest in the right skills today. Okay. Now, finally, before I close, we are coming to the end of this session, and I want you to leave you with a message that I want you to carry with you. See, the world does not reward degrees. The world rewards skill. Samjhe? World doesn't reward degrees. The world rewards skill. The world rewards diligence. The world rewards courage to pursue opportunity even when the path is unfamiliar. You already have the talent. Every CA, CMA, every commerce graduate who is watching this, or a 10+2 students, you have the analytical mind. देखो 2 घंटे से मुझे देख रहे हो आप, 1 hour 45 minutes. You have that discipline. And if you have watched this entire video at one length without break, you have work ethics also. Work ethics, very important, which some performers lack. Work ethics. Now, what you need is pathway now. The specific skills, the recognized credentials, the practical experience, the global exposure. And that is exactly what iLead Tax Academy provides you. Learn, practice, and earn. Just do it, my dear friends. Just do it. कर जाओ बस. कर जाओ. I walked this path 22 years ago. And I'm living proof that it leads somewhere extraordinary. And today I'm reaching my hand out to you. Let me walk you through this path with you. Start your journey. Start your journey. I very strongly encourage you. Now, some of you are ready to take the next step, and I want to make that step as easily as possible. Okay. Now, I have also made things very, very easy for you. Let me get you this. Yeah. This is something that I made it for you. Look at the screen here. Okay, this is not just a design. This is exactly how our students are starting their journey today. Okay, everything starts here. Okay, no office, no travel, no waiting and all. You just download the app from Play Store or Apple Store, and your global journey begins from your mobile itself. Okay, step 2, create the account. Now you are not just a viewer, you become part of the iLead ecosystem. Okay. Step 3, choose the course, what you want to do. EA, if you want to become a US tax expert. RTP, if you want to learn the individual tax return preparation, business tax return preparation, or payroll tax returns. Then QBO, if you want to get the Pro Advisor certification and become a bookkeeping freelancer. And then FPC or CPP for a payroll career. Okay, if you're looking for something in payroll. See, most institutes teach theory only, but we give you that career direction, skill, and the income path. You can directly work with iLead Tax LLC. Okay, if you qualify the interview. Yeah. Not just by enrolling, you cannot say that, okay, now give me job. No, you qualify, you study, you pass, prepare, perform. Step 4, here, make the payment, because success is not free. It is affordable for serious people. And this is where dreamers usually stop, but achievers move forward. Okay, so hit the payment button, move forward. And step 5, start learning. This is the best part. The moment you enroll, you don't wait for batch, you don't wait for the teacher, you just start learning immediately. Speed is the new success. Speed is the new success. Come on, learn, practice, earn globally. You see our contact details below, and my team and I are more than happy to help you. Come on, get started. Come into the industry. I love to see you here. Yeah, take care. God bless you. This is Nanda Kumar signing off. Bye bye.